Well, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us in the country. My name is Sam Coy. I am centrally located in Worcester, Massachusetts. I recently joined the CaseWorthy team, and I have about 13 years experience working in the human services sector and about 5 years working with a SaaS model enterprise software solution. And really, as an introduction to myself and to my team, I think it's important that you guys are familiar with who you could possibly be working with on our caseworthy team. I actually worked doing lots of measuring and tracking of outcomes. I have a very diverse background myself. I hold a law degree, two master's degrees, an MBA, and an MOL. And also, I'm working on my PhD right now. With my research is premised on nonprofit sustainability through the use of funder required performance measures. I'm joined by my incredible colleagues, as you see on the slide. Thomas Horst, located in Texas, who will be facilitating the demo for us today. I'm also joined by Rhett Richins and Richard Rapolo. Richard, who opted out of a picture on the slide today, as you can see, also located in Salt Lake City, in Utah, and also our president, Scott Argerus, has also joined the presentation for today. So for today's agenda, and I hope you enjoy these really wonderful transitions. I just wanted to really thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day to spend with us. When you join the meeting, you probably joined in listen-only mode. So if you'd like to ask questions as we move along, feel free to use the chat box or raise your hand in the GoToMeeting toolbar. We have about 1 hour for this presentation, of which I'll take about 10 minutes going through this PowerPoint, covering a brief overview of our company and acclimating you to the CaseWorthy product. Thomas will then take over, and he will show how to navigate the software and illustrate the case management functionality through our app builder and component-based framework, and then we'll move to reports. And so I won't steal too much of Thomas's thunder. You guys are going to really love it. That's when the real party starts. But let me just give you a little brief synopsis of the CaseWorthy company. We were founded in 2008 by our CEO, Brian Bingle. With over 3 decades of experience in the industry, his vision helped to create this state-of-the-art solution that Thomas is going to walk you through with a contemporary architecture, and really offers providers a comprehensive, innovative enterprise solution to help organizations automate their business processes, really improve the ability to track outcomes, demonstrate impact of funders through our easy reporting functionality, streamline services, and improve organizational sustainability. It really allows for your organizations as a provider to become high performing, all within one centralized location of collecting data. So Brian's vision that's created this groundbreaking technology in our industry is much like the late and great Michael Jackson in pioneering the music industry, really the music business, which still advances and impacts the world today. So much like our CEO, he continues to impact and stretch and move forward the technology, and which you'll see in our application. All right, so we've worked with various providers in the industry, such as whole counties, state and local governments, funders, and HHS providers. For example, the state of Connecticut uses our software for their HMIS solution. The Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness has about 7 COCs and over 400 partner agencies across the state that use our software. Soldier On is a customer with locations all over New England, including New York, and is based in Leeds, Massachusetts. One thing that is important to note about Soldier On is that they are the recipient of the largest SSVS grant that provides supportive services for homeless veterans. We also work with faith-based organizations as well. Catholic Charities, Archdiocese of Boston has about 29 locations and over 100 programs. So if you want to know more about these organizations and how we've been working with them, you can check out our case studies located on our website at caseworthy.com. All right, so what is a CaseWorthy solution? Let's talk about it. Well, CaseWorthy is an outcomes-focused, organization-wide, advanced case management software solution. We usually see nonprofits, foundations, health and human social services agencies use our software, and it really automates and simplifies the data management and funder compliance process. So agencies like yourselves can prove your evidence of social impact in the communities that you serve. And with CaseWorthy, you now have this mission-critical web-based technologies to securely manage all of your programs and services in a single central database of record. You know, our CaseWorthy solution is highly configurable, off-the-shelf enterprise solution that is web-based. So anywhere you have access to the internet, you can access data and enter data. In addition, our solution is available on tablets, smartphones, iPhones, etc. And we also offer a new web portal to increase your tracking flexibility beyond the clients you serve every day. In addition to all of that, we also offer standard and compliance operational reports, such as the VI SPDAT, the ROMA, the CSBG, APR reports for COCs as part of our software maintenance agreement, and we maintain all of the ongoing compliance changes as they occur over time. So that's just some perks that, you know, come along with our CaseWorthy application. But let's talk a little bit about the web technology platform. You know, if you're not a techie, I apologize, but please bear with me. It's important to understand, you know, what you're working with. So CaseWorthy is a Microsoft-based solution. Works with Microsoft Edge 10, Google Internet Explorer 9 and 10, as well as on tablets and iPads. As I had mentioned before, CaseWorthy provides a tablet iPad interface, which we call the responsive web design, and it's designed for optimal viewing on any device, a single interface to address all devices, laptops, tablets, mobile phones. So our tablet solution will allow users the flexibility to do their jobs wherever they want. And then last but not least, the CaseWorthy application is on a .NET framework with MS SQL platform. All right, so some CaseWorthy differentiators. So here's a list of our differentiators that our customers enjoy that other vendors really struggle to provide in a single solution, with the exception of our web portal. So many of our self-contained features and functionalities is provided right from within our system, while other vendors offer them as an add-on product at an additional cost. So the most common feedback given from our customers is how easy and flexible our software is to use and navigate. And Thomas is going to be able to show you that as he walks through the application. But in addition, it's important for us to really empower our customers with the ability to complete any configuration internally. So this includes the ability to customize workflows, forms, reports. Our CaseWorthy Analytics ad hoc reporting engine uses pivot tables with the grab and drop functionality and drill down functionality for ease of use in creating reports. And you know, many of our customers have multiple systems that are required. You guys may have, you know, other systems that you have to report into and send data to. Well, we can build a bridge with our open API to be able to connect to those other systems, but the question is whether those other systems will allow for it. Some other perks and differentiators include our geocoding and mapping functionality, scan card capabilities, touchscreen technology, as I mentioned before. And as a premier solution, we're always searching and always launching new functionality for our customers. We've recently released this new web portal that I had mentioned before, really to support employment activities, volunteer management, to streamline services outside of the work done exclusively with the client. Time tracking, mortgage assistance, and credit counseling activities, just to name a few more, are now available for use in your data collection toolkit within our application. All right, so our customers really benefit from the toolkit the CaseWorthy software provides by allowing staff and supervisors the ability to work with a visual to see progress tracking over time of clients through dashboards, and also to demonstrate the impact through outcomes and goal attainment. Being able to view this work in a snapshot or through a reporting dashboard with drill down capabilities is huge. So our solution also helps staff stay aligned with work through syncing calendars and configurable alerts for follow-up and next steps to fit a process or a workflow. So let's talk a little bit about our app builder framework configuration. So CaseWorthy is role-based, something you need to understand, and Thomas will then, show that to you, so kind of keep that in mind. Roles and their associated menu items are configurable through the use of our app builder framework. Role configuration includes menus, dashboards, and forms. The concept here is to only include the menu items on the desktop that are needed for a specific group or users. So users are mapped to roles so that when a user logs into CaseWorthy, they land on a desktop layout that is organized around the way that they work. So this is super important so that you can really minimize all the different areas in which staff can navigate to. The role-based security and access allows an administrator to control what each staff user can or cannot see, depending on the role you assign to them. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about our workflow app builder. Basically, this allows the customer to create a workflow, right? A process that's tailored to, your organization's specific duties and tasks, or even as a staff specific duties or tasks. So CaseWorthy forces each step in the workflow process to happen in the order specified. Otherwise, the user can't proceed within, a particular form, say like an intake. So if you, create a step, you can't do anything unless that step has been basically done. And this is really helpful because it takes all the guesswork out of what happens next for staff. All right, so here are a few highlights of our self-contained components. We have over 40 plus. CaseWorthy supports the ability to upload files, scan documents, images, photos, etc. to a client file. And I mentioned before the scan card badges really gives the ability to swipe or scan a service or a record, check clients into classes, and it could also be used to record time in and time out for time tracking as well. All right, so our professional service offerings ensure the success of our customer projects. It's a partnership, really, that exists to allow us to work with you and implement a finished, polished product at go live. We want to ensure our customers have the internal capacity to make changes and modify the solution through our training offerings and really allow your organization to have a solution that grows and scales as you grow and scale. So we train you on how to utilize the software, and we make sure that you have the ability to actually go in and make those changes. All right, well, my time is up. I thank you guys so much for allowing me to go through this PowerPoint. It concludes this part of the presentation. Feel free to type any questions you have in the box. We'll answer them at the end. And now I'll hand it over to Thomas, who will facilitate the demo for us from here. Thank you all so much for joining. Now the real party can start.
Great. Appreciate that, Sam. Before I let you go, I just want to make sure that you can see my screen here.
Yep, I can see it. Looks good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks, Sam. I appreciate the introduction. And just to kind of reiterate some of the things Sam was saying at the beginning, the PowerPoint presentation that you just saw, when we follow up with you via email, we can make that presentation available to you as we follow up. And so I know a lot of folks are good at taking notes, but do appreciate the high turnout today on the webinar. And we do have a lot of material to cover today. Again, this is an overview, if you will, more of a 30,000-foot view of the software, of the specific functionalities, the reporting that exists within the system. So as we follow up with you also, as you see anything that we're going to touch on today, whether it's a document management feature, electronic signatures, goal planning, goal steps, those kinds of things. We do specific webinars and customized webinars that we can set up specifically for your department, for your program, for your entire organization moving forward. So just wanted to make that known. And as we're going through, as you're looking over, or if you have questions as we're going through the presentation and you want to participate in the live chat, within your GoToMeeting window, you're able to type in your questions, or you can save it up for the end, as we do try to save about 5 minutes at the end of the presentation for an open Q&A as well. But our panel is very good about fielding those questions as we go through. So as I'm going through the presentation, if you see something and you have questions about it, just type your question into the GoToMeeting control box, and we can get your questions answered as we go through. So that said, we're going to dive into the software here, and kind of just like you see with Google, it's a very clean just login screen. And what's going to happen and show up here is what's called our splash page. And what I do want to mention is I don't want you to get too hung up on if what you're seeing on the screen. Keep in mind, this is our demonstration database, so we do hundreds and sometimes thousands of presentations to organizations all over the country. So what you're seeing here is just kind of an aggregate view of what we put together on what several organizations across the spectrum are interested in seeing. So just keep in mind that 99% of the scenarios that you're going to be able to dream and think up, we're going to be able to customize. So again, we do an entire webinar around the tools for customization, whether it's forms, whether it's dashboards, whether it's reports, but we are going to touch on that a little bit today. So again, what you're seeing here is your landing page or your splash page, and our system is what we define, as Sam said, it's role-based driven and it's tab driven. So as you can see, the three main tabs that you work with within CaseWorthy are the Case Management tab, the Organization tab, and our Administration tab, which is where a lot of our housing, our setup functionality is housed. So underneath each primary tab are sub-tabs or work groups with different functionality underneath them. What I want you to notice here is this is the kitchen sink for us. This is me here as the system administrator under our all features functionality. So again, all features is every bit of technology and functionality that exists within the system. So again, this being our demonstration database, it houses all the functionality here within all features. So underneath, as we talked about the tab system as well, we have different subgroups or work groups underneath each of the tabs. A lot of you may say, wow, that's a lot of information, that's very busy, but again, it's under all features. So one of the things that we wanted to show you is everything that you're seeing, including this dashboard, including the layout here, is going to be configurable. And it's configurable by role. And what we define in a role may be a little bit different from what you as an agency or organization define as a role. So a role, what happens is, part of what Sam explained is when we come and you contract and you partner with CaseWorthy, you will be assigned a very specific project manager. And that project manager will come physically on site to your location and determine all the different roles that you want within your organization. So a role can be the name of your particular department or program. A role can be the name of a staff member, whether it's an intake person, a case manager lead, supervisor, executive management. A role can be defined any way that you would like. And as Sam said in the PowerPoint is we determine what information, or you determine and you tell us what information you want to be displayed for each role that you assign. So again, this is our all features kitchen sink role, but what I want you to notice is if I clicked on, for example, an employment role here, what happens is the dashboard configuration changes based on that role, going from all features to employment, and the amount of what this particular employment person is able to see and has access to is very much limited. So this could be an intake person, a frontline case manager person, and they're only going to see those activities and those work groups and tabs that are related to what they're doing. So I'm going to put back on my all features hat and just know that for each role that you assign, it can be specifically configured dashboard, tabs, and everything for what that person is doing. So we talked about everything being configurable. So I'm going to show you how you're able to configure the menu items, or the system administrator for your organization is easily able to configure menu items within the system. That's done under the Rollout Builder. It's one of the tools that comes standard with your system. And just a little background on us, our goal from a technology company is to teach you how to fish, if you will. So we want to teach you and provide you with all the tools, since you don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to know HTML, as I'm going to show you here, to make changes to your database. So we want to give you complete control, obviously with training, so you're able to make these changes on your own in real time. So using the Rollout Builder here, what we'll pull up is you'll see the exact configuration that you're seeing on the outside here. And I'm just going to use case management here as the example. And what you're seeing here is you're able to configure. So if you look starting here, you have demographics, family and contacts, program enrollment, services. That same configuration is here. So those of us who have ever built anything out in SurveyMonkey, this is going to look very familiar as far as the how-to. So here you see demographics, family contacts, program enrollment, and services. So if you wanted to add or take away from these menu groups. It's very easily to do within a couple clicks here. Again, you don't want everybody to have this capability, so we would only give this change capability to your system administrators and whoever else supervisor-wise you wanted to do that. So you can delete items, you can add items to the menu screen, you can change the order of anything you're seeing here based on what you want to do. If I wanted to move case notes up to the top or towards the top, I can do that as well. So you have the entire configuration ability within a few clicks and in real time to change anything within your system. And as Sam told you earlier, a lot of us at CaseWorthy actually come from the same side of the desk as a lot of folks on this call, myself included. Worked for a $180 million nonprofit down in Texas, and I was in charge of building out the process workflows, logic models, and then overlaying this technology capture over it. So the ease of designing things, changing things within your system, even after you go live, I can guarantee you 100% you're still going to want to make changes to the system, and that's where you all being able to have that capability in your hands is going to save you a lot of time and money, not having to be a programmer to make these changes. So not only can you change the configuration of these menu items, but also as we go a little bit further, I'm going to show you how we can change forms within the system as well. So again, that's under the all features role. We talked about everything you're seeing being also customizable and configurable. Same thing with this dashboard here. Again, this is just kind of our demonstration dashboard, but if you have the permissions and security permissions in the system, you're able to go in and you can configure dashboards as far as the layout changes, all those things. So what you're seeing here on the left is just queried data. It's data that exists within the system that we have put on this person's dashboard, and it can be anything that you want. As you can see here, it's just a matter of we have a query builder within the system, so whether you're a manager, and I'm going to show you a little later on the presentation how you can do executive level dashboards as well. But anything that you're seeing here is just you want queried information to display on a dashboard, on your login screen, on your My CaseWorthy, which we're going to show you in a little while. But everything you're seeing as far as the layout is configurable. So again, if it's not exactly what you're seeing or what you're wanting here, don't worry about it. When the project manager comes on site, we're going to make it configurable and customizable to exactly what you want. So that's on the dashboard part. One of the things I want to show you, again, this is case management where we're going to spend the majority of the time on this presentation just kind of going through all the features and functionality and also My CaseWorthy. But just to kind of finish out the tab system here, I want to show you what exists under organization and administration as well. So under the organization tab, not only are we a participant tracking system as well as a client tracking system, but we also we are a contact management system for all the other, as we refer to as entities that involve and interact with your agency. So whether that's the direct customer themselves, whether it's a donor, employer, foster parents, landlords, mentors, volunteers, we're able to manage the process, again, not only at the client level, but all the support level and provider level as well. A lot of the resources that we provide here, and I'm going to go through this at the very end, we do a comprehensive incident management system. So if you're COA accredited or Council on Accreditation accredited, you have to document all those incidents, when that includes taking pictures, that includes approval management, and we'll show that a little bit towards the end. If you're a 211 center or you offer that as part of your programming, or 311 or call center management, lobby management, we can show you that towards the end as well. In addition to, we talked about a comprehensive approval management system. So approval management, whether it's a service request, whether you're approving ISP, IEP, or service plan or treatment plan, incident reports, as we just talked about, gift card vouchering systems, whether it's for gift cards, as I said, or transportation. So we do it a complete approval management system within the system as well. You saw earlier volunteers, but we do like to just tease it out and show it here. We do a comprehensive volunteer management system, and we offer, as Sam mentioned earlier, this through the volunteer portal. And as well as donors. By the end of this year, we should have our complete donor system built out as well. But within the donors here, we do campaign management. So if you wanted to generate, whether it's physical mailing list, snail mailing list, or emailing list, or schedule campaigns, you're able to do that through the system as well. But what I want to spend time on here is the administration tab. And this, again, this is just a splash page of reporting, which I'll cover when we get to the tail end of the reporting section today. But as you can see, all of our dashboards and reports are going to be interactive, and we'll show you that towards the end. But on the setup side, what I really want to show here is how you set up your organizations. In the essence of time, I won't have time to go through that today. But what I really want to focus on the setup side is the programs and accounts section. And again, these are just, as you click on each tab, when you see these little picture icons next to these work groups, that just means there's a dashboard that sits behind that tab. So in this case, whether it's programs, assessments, accounts, I'm just going to show you on program sides because it's comprehensive and all inclusive. And again, we have this our demonstration database with over 200 programs. Looking over the registration list for this webinar, I'm guessing you guys will have anywhere from 5 to 30, depending on your organization size, whether you're Salvation Army or YWCA. It really just depends. But again, you won't have 211 here. So I'm just going to actually just highlight this low-income housing energy assistance program and just show you under this tool icon here all the things that are associated with this program. It's mapping the specific assessments that exist or that you want to exist in the system to that program, all the program services that are associated, and I'll just click on these so you can kind of see them, that are associated with, and this is our breadcrumbs tool here. It's kind of replaces the back button, but you're able to go back and look at all the things you were in as far as the previous page. It's service eligibility. So we have a built-in service eligibility engine, which I'm going to show you here on the back end, that once you enter all the specific demographic data and customer data, the system will run an eligibility engine to tell you, based on the rules that you set up, which I'm about to show you, on what makes that person eligible or not eligible for that program. We do most of the financial associated items and tracking short of payroll within the system. So one of the things that we do track in the system is if you have funder balances and donor balances or whatever you're needing to track in the system, it can decrement and debit against those balances in the mapping process of this program as well. So again, we do an entire webinar around that, but just wanted to show you that real quick. And again, all the other things that are associated with the programs, whether it's certain documents, certain checklists, obviously certain outcomes, anything that you want tied to and mapped to your program, we do track that here. So anything you want under program service, and the last thing I'll show you here is under program service eligibility for this particular utility assistance program. You can set up the rules, or we will set up the rules with you when we come on site on what the rules are for that specific programs or service. So here, as you can see, not only can you track the single occurrence eligibility rule for this, like this natural gas, you're able to receive up to $125 per occurrence. You're allowed to do this once per month per occurrence, and on an annual basis, you're able to have eligibility to use this program or get the service 10 times with the total amount here. And as your compliance changes throughout the years, sometimes every 6 months in some cases, you're able to go back in here in real time and alter those rules as your compliance changes. So we also, again, you can do this yourselves, but if you forget, you just pick up your phone, call our extended customer service agents at extended business hours, and we can walk you through this as well. But all this we will provide specific training for you with. So setting up the eligibility rules, the service rules for each one of your programs, we will do that with you on site, but you'll have the capability of making those changes as we move forward and as they occur within your system. So again, we won't have enough time to go through all the different parts of this, but we're going to show a little bit on the workflows to show you how visually 9 out of 10 of us are visual people. So as you have attrition, you have people coming and going within your agency or organization, the workflow, as we're going to show you, provides a roadmap, if you will, for how that process or workflow or a particular data collection is going to be done. So that's on the setup side. So what I'd like to do now is kind of go back into the case management side. As I said, we're going to spend most of our time here. And the easiest way to show a lot of this functionality is just to kind of go through what we call a common or centralized intake, which is one of the other things that we set up for you initially when we come on site. So if I was going to add a client, and again, don't get too hung up. This is, again, we're doing this for hundreds of organizations around the country. You'll probably have 1, 2, or 3, just depending on how you want it set up, or even just one common or centralized intake. So for this particular example, I'm just going to select it here. And what it's going to do now is pull up what we call the workflow, which Sam talked a lot about. And I'm going to reduce the size here so you guys can see my screen a little bit better. But as you can see here, to really make the data integrity and the amount of kind of what we call ad hoc reporting to fix your data, we make the data going in very clean. So as you can see here, the first step is add a client, add family members, add an enrollment if you want. You can enroll additional family members in at that time, pull in any mapped assessments that you want. You can have a presenting issues section to enter, and then it's going to run the program eligibility engine based on the data that you entered to tell you which programs that this particular client or participant is eligible for. Well, you're asking, where did this come from? We just talked about it on the setup side. So under the setup side, again, 9 out of 10 of us are visual. Under the workflow section, you're able to define for each program or services that you want what the workflow is going to look like or what that workflow is going to be. So if you go into here, what I wanted to show you is exactly what you just saw in the workflow is exactly what we built for, or the project manager will work with you to define out. And I'll tell you, this is probably the most in-depth, most difficult part of the process, because most most organizations have not got to this point yet, to where they're actually almost like doing a teacher's lesson plan, if you will, to define out what these processes are. But once these workflows are done and set in place, as you can see here, add client, family member, enrollment, it's the exact same workflow that you saw on the other end. But once these are defined, it's with you or anyone else as they come into your program or your department or your organization on exactly what the process is for your organization. So again, we do this when we come on site with you with our project manager, so you will help define what these process workflows are. So again, going back to this workflow process, and again, I'll apologize for my typing in advance, but one of the big things that we do here is everything you're seeing that sits above this check for duplicates is kind of the criteria, and we can add alias, we can add whatever you want, but let's just say that you wanted to customize this form because it doesn't have, you got a new grant and you needed to measure for, we'll keep this lighthearted, you need to measure eye color now for the specific grant. So what I want to show you is, just like on configuring the actual dashboards and menus themselves, you can configure very specific forms if you are a system administrator with those permissions. And you do that with our configuration raindrop here, just by clicking it and going to the format builder. Just like it sounds, it's a tool to customize your forms. So you click on that, it opens up the exact form on how it looks. So if you look here, you have last name, birth date, social security number, last name, birth date, social security number. So if you wanted to make any changes to this form, you can do so here. As I said, we're just going to kind of keep it lighthearted. These are the tables or the data view that you see here. So if you wanted to add a new data element, all you would have to do is click on this plus here. You would just type in whatever data element that you wanted, and then you would just click save. And I'm going to show you how to configure and customize this a little bit later, but I want to show you here, now that we just typed that in, it appears on our data table. So, and you also know that it has an X underscore. And the reason why we do that is that's a specific customized naming convention. So a lot of the questions for the IT folks on this call is, well, how do you know when you do updates, when you do new features integration, all those things, how do you know not to step on our custom fields? This is exactly how we do it. So we only make those adjustments to the baseline application without stepping on the specific fields that you customized and you put together. So you're like, there it appears on our table. So if we went to our design view, I want to show you how easy it is just to really literally drag and drop that new data field onto your form. So if I click and drag and drop here, again, I want to show you how easy this is. And once it appears on your form, obviously you don't want the naming convention on your form, so you're able to just click on it right here and make these changes. Again, this is your system administrator making these changes in real time. Are you going to remember all this on the very first training? You will not. So just know that we're going to be with you every step of the way. When you do forget some steps or you do forget processes, even having the recorded videos or everything else, you're able just to pick up the phone and give us a call. This is another very important step here, making them a required fields. We said this was for a new grant, so of course this is going to be required information. So by clicking on this, the frontline staff is not able to move on in the workflow unless these specific questions that you make required are checked and the data is filled in. We also know that we don't want this to be a checkbox. We want this to be a drop-down box because there's going to be more choices that you can choose. And because of that, you want to be able to have a list here of the available items for that. And I know that we've already created one on the back end for this example. So if I just do a list search here, it's going to pull up the iColor list, and you're able to make the changes to that list, additions. I don't think we have anybody with purple eyes, so we can actually take that away. But you can see here that it's very configurable based on what you need. So if I were to go ahead and click and save this change in the system, it will now become part of the update the system in real time and appear on this form. So that said, that's how easy it is to configure and make changes into the system as we go along. So I'm actually going to bypass this here as we go forward because I want to show you how easy it is to also unmake changes to the system as well. So if I click on iColor here, I can show you that I can delete this data element moving forward, and I can also take it off the table so it doesn't exist as well. Again, this is literally how easy it is to make changes within the system. So if I click save and exit here, again, if anybody who's ever built anything out in SurveyMonkey or anything else, it's very similar on how you use those tools. So again, I'll apologize in advance for my typing here, but I want to show you also, you don't have to type in the complete, you can do a partial, and as you click check for duplicates, it will tell you right away if you have a partial name, an alias name, anything like that in the system. Since we don't have this person already in the system, I'm going to say this is a new client. And like I said, I'm just going to burn through this section here very quickly just to kind of show you how the process works as far as getting a new client entered into the system. So say gender is female. I'm assuming a lot of people on this call probably know who Amy is. Very funny comedian. Here's a multi-select function for a lot of those folks. If you're doing somebody who has multi-race, you're able to make multiple selections as you go forward. This is a very neat function that we've incorporated recently. This is called a verify address or a Latin longitude. So as you're typing in the address for your particular client or participant, you're able to basically pinpoint that address, and actually I think that's east here. Like I said, I apologize in advance for my typing. East 3900 South. That's actually our old office address. So what we also want to show you is automation, kind of tying into federal zip code tables. We're able to get Latin longitude and able to pull in information, as you can see, by just typing in a correct zip code, it pulls in the state and the actual city for that zip code. And again, as we talked about verifying address, because we're tied into Google and Bing Maps, we're able to get longitude and latitude from an openware with API with that as well. So you ask, why is latitude and longitude important? Well, it also will map out how far certain referral providers, different partners that you have are away from your organization, away from their house. If you do like a senior nutrition or Meals on Wheels, for example, it can help route out your route management. If you're doing on-site, in-home type of visiting, this is a great tool for that as well. So in the essence of time, what I want to also say is every time you see these stars here, or these asterisks, that means it's a required field. So if you do not answer questions as you move forward in these workflows, it will not let you if you do not mark a field that is marked with an asterisk. So as you can see here, in the essence of time, we didn't mark any of these fields as required, but it just allows for the communication standards that you can have with your particular participants. So in this case, I'm just going to type in my own personal email to kind of show you guys an example as we move forward with the automatic email and text alert function that we have within the system. So I'm going to copy and just paste that as a confirmation here. And again, if you don't want a confirmation, you don't have to have it. but you can have that as well. If you're dealing with sensitive information, if you're a domestic violence agency, you're dealing with HIV or AIDS or pregnancy information, you can have information this granular down to the participant or client as far as shared is not shared, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And if you're doing high volume type of services, you can assign scan card and badges to your participants as well. So I'm going to save and move forward here and kind of going on into the next step. So let's see here. Actually, here it got me. So social security number, as we're showing, the system will grab you if you don't fill in required field. So I'm just going to fill that in there and click save. So actually glad the system caught me there moving forward. So as we talked about in the workflow, it just automatically takes you to the steps. So it really simplifies the process and makes it kind of foolproof on the next steps that are involved. For the sake of time here, I'm not going to enroll any additional family members and just save and continue. Here's the enrollment section. You can have this part of the workflow or not, but we wanted to show you it here. So I'm actually going to show enrollment for this person into our low-income housing energy assistance program. As I talked about before on the back end on the setup side, you can assign certain counts that it would debit against depending on what they're eligible for. You can have different providers, like it could be your organization and another organization that offers this. I'm going to select us for the sake of this example. You're able to track family, individual, or both as far as the services and enrollment that you do. This is what we call conditional logic here. So I'm going to assign a case manager to this to kind of let them know that this is an automatic email that's going to be sent to them to let them know they have a new participant for their program. And I also want to schedule a follow-up. We have an integrated calendar and scheduling functionality built right in that syncs with Outlook and Google calendars, so you'll have that as well. If you wanted to assign this to a team with the, you don't want to assign it to a specific person, they may be off, they may have just left, so you can actually assign it to an approval team and even more granular to a specific person. This seems to be the model moving forward, so it goes to a team and nothing slips through the crack. So again, you can schedule this for 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, 2 weeks, whatever your program and services workflow dictates. So again, this is conditional logic here. If I click this and didn't want to send it to it, I could, but I wanted to show you this example as far as creating this automatic email. We're really big on templates. So the way we template our system is all the demographic or customer information that you put in can be automatically scraped and be brought right into the emails or templates that we put together, just like it does in Outlook or any other type of email application. So as you can see here, this is a notification, simple one we put together. It shows the name of our participant, the case manager, the assignment of the program, and the actual date. So all this stuff can be set up for you automatically within the system. So I'm just going to click send here, so that automatically would be sent out to your case manager. And again, if you wanted to share or not share, or even take away this button because it doesn't apply for you, you're able to do that from our configuration form builder here. So I'm just going to save in the essence of time and kind of click through here. If you wanted to roll any family members, you can do that at this time. I'm not going to do that. This is a very important step as we mapped certain assessments. As you can see here, it automatically sent me the email that I had a new participant in my program that I needed to follow up with. And we also wanted to show, I'm sorry, getting back to here, it pulls in very specific assessments, how we map them into the system. Again, this is conditional logic as well. The first assessment just says, is this a disaster area? In this case, we would select no. But if we were to select yes, as you can see, and this is applicable across all your forms, all your assessments, all your treatment plans, based on conditional logic, the way they select a question will either prompt another set of questions or move you on to the next one. So in this case, we're going to select no, so the whole assessment doesn't apply to us. And then it takes us to an income and expenses section, because we know within the LIHEAP program and the gas program, there's certain rules associated with based on my income. And because of the rule that I have set up, which I'm going to show you here, I'm going to say we've got their paycheck stubs, and we show that they only make $950 a month. This is good for also financial literacy and things of that nature. So when I click save here, it's going to take me to presenting issues. Presenting issues, again, you can have this as part of your workflow or not. It's really up to you. I'm just going to show you the functionality and how it applies here. So I'm going to say that my particular client that I'm working with has a certain disability, which could or cannot be a barrier to their ability to work within your program or organization. We're just going to say this person has a prosthetic limb. We're going to say it's very important to this process. I'm going to enter a quick note. Again, all these things that are brought in, we can put in certain templates if you want. We can have this automatically pull up the date, just depending on how you want it set up. I'm going to just show you this one because we can show you not only does it pull in text information, but it can pull in also pictures, anything you want based on certain forms that you want filled out. So in this case, I'm just going to say you can also do electronic signatures from here. So if you want, again, something signed off on that needs it, you can do that from here. You can do it from a tablet. However you want, you can do multiple signatures as you go onto the system. If you want it to be the case manager and the actual client themselves, you can do that and keep adding signatures that you need. So I just wanted to show you that in the presenting issues section, that you're able to do that or not do that depending on how you want the workflow to go. And as we save through and go through here, again, we told you the system can run automatically depending on the rules that you set up to say which programs the participant is eligible or is not eligible for. In this case, for LIHEAP, we know that if they're under the rule that you told us to set up is underneath $1,000 for their monthly income, they are eligible. And here you can take action just by clicking on the item. You can enroll this client directly into the program from here. You can put them on a wait list, really depending on however you want your workflow to be set up. I'm going to put them on the wait list for now as we finish the workflow. So as you're going through this, again, even with me narrating, it took about probably 5 minutes to go through that. Obviously, repetition is the mother of skill. So as your case managers, your intake people get very efficient with the system, they'll be able to do this in probably a minute or less, depending on that individual. So when I click done, Amy Schumer now becomes part of my database, now part of all the things that we've entered with them. We can do all the things under the case management tab associated with that person. Because I want to show you a lot more functionality and information, I just want to show you what it automatically does behind the scenes for the new participant that you just entered. But I'm going to show you, having worked with a client over time, how a lot of this information can be comprehensively collected. So we use Mitch Rapp a lot in our example. He's our main demo guy. So when you select Mitch, he was the guy that showed up here on our splash page. But what I'd like to go through here before we dive into reports and some other functionality is really go deep into some of the features and functionality that really makes CaseWorthy what we call an advanced case management system, as opposed to just a basic case management system that just counts things. We call what we do moving from how many to how well. You know, what is the true social impact of our services, not just how many times they showed up for it. So as we showed you before, under family and contacts, you can have different family members. This is just a dashboard, again, as configurable by you. All the different contacts that interact with your client, complete address history. Again, this is just a dashboard with queried information, and if you wanted to change it, we can do that very quickly with you on site, very easily, and give you the tools and training to show you how to configure it yourself as well. So that's under the basic family and contacts. You can record services, one-off services, individual services, family services. We do comprehensive services within the system. So you can track and have this running list be as long as you want for what you want. Medical services, I'm going to show you a little bit more about that moving on. We do complete referral management system within the application. So whether that's a referral to an external provider, internal referral between programs, you can track referrals that come to you from other agencies. And I'm going to show you how we put this together in a pretty cool dashboard as well. So comprehensive referral management exists within the system. Case notes, one of the most important parts of what we do in case management every day. As you can see here, it keeps a comprehensive list up to 178. And as Sam said before, because we're built on Microsoft technology, a lot of what you're seeing here is spreadsheet type of interface. So if I wanted to have this list sort by type, I can either do that from a selection list up here, or I can automatically click on tabs and it'll reshuffle the information based on the tab that I'm choosing. I can select certain case notes I want here and have them printed. I can have them just viewed. I can do whatever I want here. And again, if that view is not for you, you want to just see goal and progress notes, you're able to reshuffle and have this information present to you any way you want. And because this is a Excel type of format that we're presenting, what we're going to show you on the reporting side also is you can take this information right out to Excel directly from here. So anything that you see, whether it's a list type of report or specific report, you're going to be able to export out to any of the common formats, which is PDF, CSV, Excel, and all those things that you need to extract information for. So that's case notes. Again, we do a complete document management system. It records everything that you have done sequentially. But what I also like to mention here, as Sam said earlier, we don't charge separately for a document management system. We don't charge separately for electronic signatures. All this comes as baseline parts of your application. So whether it's an actual driver's license that you want uploaded here, whether it's actual documents or information, like for this program for LIHEAP, you're probably going to have to bring in your utility bill and some actual, let's see here, I'm going to open this up. If you want to actually see the utility bill that's in the system, you can do that as well. Again, this can also be a paycheck stub. So any documents that you wanted or pictures you want to upload in the system can be done directly, either direct scan or just uploaded from a file on your desktop as well. So complete document management system, treatment plans, service plans, ISPs, IEPs, goal planning, we do that completely within the system. So not only can you set it up from here as far as the completion dates, whether it's a family or an individual plan, but you can also, we get very granular and very specific with this to where you can weight certain items within your plan. You can do percentage of completion. You can edit these actual steps and goals on the fly, depending on what you're wanting to do with it. You can change percentage of completions. We get very granular with this. And again, when we come on site with you, what you want and how you want, either how simple or complex you want your treatment plans to be, our project managers will set that up with you. So that's service plans. Again, we talked about presenting issues, anything that you wanted within that arena. Anything related to the client, whether it's, again, you can change their aliases. You can actually bar certain individuals from services or programs. There's just so much to show you within the system. Again, if you see anything under here today that you'd like to see more of, just let us know and we'll cover that with you separately. We do an entire health management, both physical and behavioral mental health within the system. So the different diagnosis codes, the CPT codes, ICD-10 codes, screening, whether it's alcohol and drug screening, group counters, level of care. Like I said, we do a comprehensive mental and behavioral health screening. If you're actually talking about administering medications, that's what you do in your system. We have color coding that can flag certain medications within the system. If a certain participant or client has certain allergies that you're able to document that all in the system. And we do offer medical billing, Medicaid billing as part of our solution as well. So whether you're producing a CMS 1500 paper bill or an ANSI 837 electronic bill, definitely that's a whole other separate presentation we can do for you. But if you're doing billing for services, we can definitely work with you as well on that. Again, comprehensive assessments, we have over 2,500 in the system that you're able to use. You'll hear us talk a lot about the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of what you're needing that already exists in the system. And then that last 20% is just customizing that specific set of forms or treatment plan to exactly what you're needing. We like to show My CaseWorthy here because everything that you're seeing above here is related to the client. My CaseWorthy is related to the actual case manager or the person who's delivering their services. So this could be their landing page or their dashboard. It gives a complete comprehensive view of all their activities for that day, their case assignments. Again, this just like any other dashboard is configurable. So if you wanted to change what this dashboard looks like or what presents on here, you can do that. Working smarter, not harder. Just like you see on your web pages, whether it's a bookmark or favorites, we have something called pin pages, which is exactly the same. So if you are 4 or 5 clicks into something to where you're spending a lot of time, you can actually just click within a few clicks and get to where you want to go within the system. I like to show this here because this is just another functionality within the system that I noticed some people, some of the audience are going to be interested in, but it's actually our graphical housing management piece. So what we've done and borrowed from kind of the hospitality industry is if you're operating any kind of housing, you can duplicate, whether that's 1 story, 3 story, 4 stories, you can duplicate what that exact housing looks like. And this is a more permanent supportive apartment style housing, but you can do this as well with emergency style housing as well. If you manage multiple properties, you can have multiple of those properties appear here, just really depending on what you wanted to see and kind of what you're doing. So you can have multiple layouts here. So in kind of going back and showing you that that's the setup side of the graphical housing piece, I can also show you the check-in side of it, which allows for a lot more ease of the things that you're doing as far as check-in. And this could be for anything. This could be for classrooms. This could be for events. This kind of integrated calendar and functionality that you're seeing here is good for all of those things. So what I just showed you on that side was, I think it was the City Union mission side of it. Let me see here. Yeah. So if you want to actually do check-ins from here, again, this could be a classroom. This could be anything that you want as far as that goes. So you can do a hover over to see who's there, who's not there. But the really cool thing about this is you can actually do multiple check-ins from here as well. If they're showed up for your services, you can show them being checked in. We manage inventory of the rooms here. You can be very granular on who's eligible, who's not eligible for those rooms, age limits, gender limits, whatever you want. But that also exists on our graphical management piece. So we've got a few minutes here to cover reporting. Again, the application is so big and robust. There's so much more to show you, but we really got to dive into reporting here as we wrap up to kind of show you some things that are very specific to, once that you get that good data in, how easy it is to get out. So in doing that, I'm actually going to switch gears here in a second, but I want to show you here, we were just talking about the Energy Assistance Program. So you're able to hover over and do drill downs right within your screen here on what you're wanting to see as far as what makes up the sub information for these graphs and charts. And again, we've had it here to show programmed by gender and by age. That can be anything you want depending on how you set it up. Again, just going into your form and role app builder here, or dashboard builder, you can do all those things. So if I wanted to see the females here, it again presents the information in list format. I can shuffle the deck based on these tabs how I want, by name, just depending on what you want. And again, I can take this information right out to Excel. And I'll just do it here to show you how easy that is to do. And it pulls up right here in a separate pop-up window. So you're able to pull any information that you want out to various formats moving forward. So one of the things I've been showing you, or what I've been showing you here, is in actually Mozilla Firefox. I want to show you this application also in Google Chrome. So when I log into Google Chrome here, I'm just going to wrap up the reporting part of this in Google Chrome. But as you can see, it's a very clean interface, same as what you just saw. And again, under administration, under reporting, there's 3 areas primarily that we focus on, which is operational compliance, and I'm going to wrap up with the analytics or ad hoc reporting. But under operational reports, these are basically all those list reports that you already saw, whether it's clients in program, services by program. One of the things I wanted to show you here is the whole working smarter, not harder. You can actually save these parameters or these reports to run automatically. So what you're going to notice here is these parameters. You can actually save those parameters here, or you can actually go into the schedule reports function. Here's a lot of them that I have saved. I'm just going to show you the new ones here, but you can name the report whatever you want. You can pull that report into a template, however you want it to read, the actual format that it's going to go to, the actual frequency. You can have this run, day, week, month, quarterly, whatever you want within the system. You can have this run at 4 a.m. every morning. So whoever's in charge of reportings, the management could be like, wow, that Julie, she's up at 4 a.m. Every week running those reports. She's a real trooper, not even knowing that these reports run automatically for you behind the scenes. And as we talked about before, you can set the parameters for those reports so they run automatically for you. So this is one of the strongest parts of our reporting feature. But as we're going forward here, What I want to show you also is under compliance report. I know there's a lot of HUD folks on this call today, a lot of CSBG, Roma, CAP, and LIHEAP who deal with direct federal funds with that. So those are compliance reports that are baked into the system and it will require just a little bit of configuration based on your region to run. Same thing with supportive services for veterans' families, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS. Sam talked about the vulnerability service prioritization or VI SPDAT reports. All these come as basic reports for you because you're part of the CaseWorthy family. But kind of what will tie all this together is our analytics product. And the best way to show our analytics product is to bring in kind of a real world example. And I know I'm going to run a couple minutes over here, but please hang tight with us as this is probably the most important part of the reporting that you're going to see. And we'd like to do this showing a real world example. If you're anyone like me, I've actually received this request from my executive director at my old nonprofit, which is why I like to use it. So the example is you receive the following email request from your executive director. And it says, for an upcoming grant, I need to know the sum and count of services provided to women from age 18 to 50 who have received services through the following programs: Head Start, English for Employment, and Adult Education. And to add insult to injury, I want to be able to look at this information sorted by service type. And if you have ever received this request before and you don't have CaseWorthy to help you out, your palms usually get sweaty. You know you're about to put in 12 hours for the next couple of weeks to try to compile all this information from various spreadsheets and other databases because you don't have a tool like CaseWorthy. But what I'm going to show you here in less than 2 minutes, even with me narrating, how easy it is to put this information together using our ad hoc reporting tool. So as I said, within the application under reporting, under our analytics or ad hoc reporting tool, based on the example, we know we're going to be working with services. So when I go in, this is our basic ad hoc reporting tool, which I'm going to show you here, and it's drag and drop as far as the functionality. So we know that we need to know that they ask for the count and sum of services for this particular grant. We know that we want 3 specific program names that are going to be associated with this, and we know at the very end we're going to be able to have to sort this information by service type. We know also through the example that our demographic is going to only be women or females. So actually I'm going to pull that into my sortable field up here at the top, and also know that I don't want all ages, I want very specific age groups or a group of ages. So again, even with me narrating here, I was able to put that together in less than 30 seconds. When I click OK, what I want you to notice here is how fast this runs. If you've ever run on another system like Crystal Reports or anything else, you know that same report could have taken 30 minutes to 3 hours to go. And we do this on purpose also because we know you're not going to have, in this example, over 100 different programs you're pulling information from, but we did that to show you how fast it would be, not only for that, but how much faster it could be if you're just running it for 3 programs. In this case, it's going to be Head Start, English for Employment, and we said Adult Education. So here's where we start to take the information a lot more granular. So now that we know this total count and sum of services for those 3 programs, actually I missed one there, Adult Education, and click OK. So for these 3 programs is about 1.300 and a little over 100,000, but we know we need to take it even more so, and it's not all genders again, we only know it's going to be the female population, and we click OK. So every time we do this, we're taking it exactly down to what the executive director has asked for. Don't get too caught up here. This could be 1 to 9, 10 to 19. For the example, and to keep it quick, we just set up these specific age ranges. Between 18 and 50 is what we're looking for. So within a matter of minutes, I have now all the information that my executive director was asking for. And this can be exported out to Excel however you want it. But we know we want this to be sorted by service type. So I can do this in one of 2 ways. I can click on the specific program and it'll sort out the service type and count and sum of services, or I can expand all and it'll do that for all of them. So I'm going to collapse this real quick because I want to show you now how this really takes you to the advanced level of reporting. And not only can you see this as I showed you in a grid or a spreadsheet format, but you can also do this in a graphical format. And just like we showed you before, all of our graphs are interactive for how you want the information to display. So if you want it very specific, if you wanted to flip back and forth between sum and count of services, you can do that. So a lot of the executives or management on this call are saying, wow, I probably know I'm getting ready to build my annual report. graphics, representations, statistics, outcomes, that'd be really important for me. I'm a program manager. I'm looking to build a threefold collateral piece on my organization. I'm the website designer or administrator. I want to put specific graphs on our website related to outcomes or recidivism or all those things. You're now able to do that with CaseWorthy using our graphical management tools. And again, all this is exportable out to every common format that you can think of. So we do an entire webinar around reporting. So if you'd like to see more on this when we follow up with you, please do let us know. I appreciate you hanging on with us about 5 minutes over. And I'll turn it over back to Scott and the panel to see if there's any questions that anyone has here moving forward.
Hey, Thomas, I've got some noise in my office, but I'll have Richard do the wrap-up. But before we do that, for Bart, he asked, really, how did you get access to the analysis cube? So if you could go back out of here and just show him specifically the click trails and how you got access to it, I think that will address Bart's question.
Sure. So and, Bart, yeah, under the three main tabs, case management, organization, and administration, that's where our reporting is housed. So if you click under administration, you're able to click on reporting, and it's right under our analytics product. Or like I said before, you can do it that way, or actually have it pinned here. So if I'm anywhere else within the application, I can click on my pinned pages. I believe I did have it on here. Yes, here it is under my Pin Pages tab. It takes me right to the reporting screen. Within a couple clicks, I can get to where I need to.
Thank you, Thomas. And Richard, if you wouldn't mind, just do the wrap-up, and thank you very much.
Yeah, no, that's great, Scott. So, Thomas, thank you so much. Sam, thank you so much. I think that was the last outstanding question that we had, was that last one from Bart. So he had asked a few others. Mostly on the reporting, so they were addressed online. So why don't we just wait a few seconds here to see if anybody has any last-minute questions. You can continue to respond to them in the questions area, or if you want to raise your hand, we could take you off of mute and you could ask your question that way as well. So. Again, yeah, I think Bart's done. He thanked us for that, so I think we're in good shape here. I don't see any additional questions. So again, we want to thank everybody for attending. We'll follow up with you after this. If you liked what you saw today, we'd love to have the opportunity to schedule some time with your specific organization and show you a little bit more about the program areas and the specific functionality that you're interested in within your agency. Again, Thomas and Sam, thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.
Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.